Hi, all. Happy Tuesday. Today's topic is a fairly common one. I know I've touched on bits and pieces of different parts of this, but I feel like I'm going to bring a few things together so that we can see the thread. And this is all about avoidance, really, right? Like, what are the things that we all do it? So, first, let's just come to acceptance that 100% of the population avoids things that are unpleasant to them in one way or another, right? We just do. That is a fact. We all do to one extent or another, or one topic or another, or one type of avoidance or a different type, or whatever they are. But I mean, it's incredibly common. We all do it to some aspect, right? But it is also important to first, let's make sure that you know that you're doing that, because sometimes our avoiding techniques can be so ingrained in us. We would have learned this lesson at such a young age that we don't even realize that what we're doing is avoiding something. So first, let's, be aware of what are the things that are non-negotiable for you, or that you find yourself bobbing and weaving to get away from. And these can be actual things or events, like I'm avoiding, for my own thing, like starting a new, offering, or, like being bold, or something like that. Is it like an event that we're avoiding? Are you avoiding starting a new diet, or are you avoiding a certain kind of exercise, or are you avoiding being around certain people or doing certain things? And when we look at it, we can definitely see, as we boil down what we're avoiding, it always ends up being the same thing, and that is some type of discomfort. It's either physical, but more likely than not, emotional discomfort. We're usually trying to avoid feeling icky in some way. We try to do the things that are more comfortable and easier, and we avoid the things that are harder and that we're not comfortable with. And what happens over time, and this might sound like, well, isn't that how you foster your life in such a way that the vast majority of things are enjoyable and comfortable? And it doesn't that just sound so yummy, right? And it does, and it is, until we start to take a look at what is the cost of the avoidance, right? Because again, if we're avoiding an emotion, kind of literally impossible. So if we think we're avoiding certain emotions, all we're really doing is avoiding the knowledge and the wisdom of emotional intelligence, and getting to know ourselves, and getting to know what causes what emotions. And like, there's a whole ton of learning that gets thrown out the window when we avoid something. By not interacting with something, we do learn certain lessons. We learned, yep, still comfortable not to do that. Yep, okay, I learned that. But we're also turning our back on some bigger life lessons that can be had if we actually purposefully engage in the uncomfortable stuff. And, we're also looking at what is the cost of that particular avoidance, right? Are you limiting your life experience? Are you limiting the amount of people and places and things and whatever? And do you find that your life is getting smaller and smaller and smaller? Are the things that you are willing to do getting less and less and less? Are the people you're willing to be around less and less? Are the places you'll go and people you'll see, the events that you engage in? Is your life being so shrunken down by all of the avoidance that you're missing out on the miracle of the life itself, in the name of a potential short-term emotional hurt or uncomfortableness? But what is the cost of not feeling that uncomfortableness, and also not feeling all of the joys and wonderment and exploration and happiness and learning and all of the things that come along with those short pieces of emotional hurt? And so that's what's important to remember, is that the emotions are very short-lived if we allow them to be. If we're not holding on to them and actively avoiding them. By avoiding these emotions, we're actually making them stronger, but they're under the surface strong. So one day they're just gonna smack you if it hasn't happened yet. right? But by learning how to live in all of the emotions and make them all more comfortable means less things to avoid. So that means more life experiences and more learning and more just yumminess. And so again, because the emotional hurt is short, but the memories and the lessons are very, very long. So we really do have to ask ourselves this cost benefit analysis thing of short and long term comfort and pleasure. Is it worth avoiding this one thing so that you don't feel emotionally uncomfortable for this amount of time? Is that cost worth not exploring this emotion, building a tolerance to this emotion so that when it does sneak up on you, you know how to handle it? Is it limiting your life experience and your relationships? So really, really looking at what is the cost benefit analysis of your particular avoidance. So what is something that you avoid? Big or small, doesn't matter. Figure out, we're all doing it, so there's one in there somewhere. If you're saying nothing, it's so deep in there that you don't even see it anymore. So hunt, hunt, hunt until you find something you're avoiding. And then when you get there, ask yourself, what exactly is it? What is it about that I'm avoiding? And then ask yourself, what is the cost of avoiding it? Now listen, this is not going to be like sometimes it is going to be, yep, nope, making the right decision for me. It's not worth it. It's not worth the payoff. Okay, but let's make sure we're making a conscious choice of I am choosing between avoiding the short-term emotion and learning from this long-term, whatever the thing is, right? And then you're choosing between A and B, but not just going into autopilot of avoidance. So take a look at it. How big or small is your life? What role is avoidance playing in there? And is the cost so much worse than the benefit? And make sure that you're defining that for yourself. Let me know what you think and let me know what you're avoiding. Like, I'd love to know, like, what are you avoiding? What are the things? Yeah, let me know and let's see what we can do about it. And if I don't see you before then, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.